Okay, here we go. So first, Rocket Roast. This comes from the boy, good friend of ours, Treyman1. Now,
Treyman made it down the street. No.
we gotta say, Trey, we love you. We love Trey. We all love Trey here. But bro,
big dog.
we gotta call. We gotta call him out. We gotta call him out for this. I saw this. I was like, bro, I had to put you on the pod for this one. I'm sorry. All right, so let's read it. He said this was like a day or two right before the final episode of the final arc of Horizons from last week. He said, "Crazy final prediction. I doubt this. I doubt this. This is the case. What if Friede gets turned into Lucario, similar to Detective Pikachu? They are already somewhat pulling from the movie with Requiem and the R substance, bro."
You know, I appreciate that he at least tried to pull the parachute and said, "I doubt this is the case."
Yeah. He gave himself a little bit of a buffer.
He
By
tried.
now.
I'm probably wrong. However,
at least he acknowledged it, but it still should have stayed in the drafts, bro.
yeah, he was very wrong.
Going furry bait Friede is crazy. I do not love that idea.
I don't want to even hear those words, bro. I mean, to answer John's question about what actually happened to Friede, so the Rise and Vault Tacklers, they pushed the emergency button on the Bravasaki airship, turning it into the Infinite Rise, which is like a cooler version of it.
None of these words are in the Bible, by the way.
Yeah, none of it.
I just realized how difficult it is to explain Pokemon to somebody who doesn't watch Pokemon. Like, I never experienced this until right now.
I'm trying my best, bro. I'm trying my best.
You gotta break it down in simpler terms, Rav. You gotta
he said Brave Asagi, like I knew what that was.
So the Brave Asagi is in Japanese for Brave Olivine. You could have just said Brave Olivine, but still, yeah, the Brave Olivine is the name of the ship that they fly in.
Just call it the ship, bro.
Yeah, the
Okay, all right, cool. They pressed the button on the ship, and during the process of trying to save the gang from the collapsed Rakua Mountain, the wind was pushing back Friede and Charizard, and in that moment of time, they were finding it hard to get back on the ship. Friede gave Captain Pikachu to Liko to look after and say, "Right, Cap, you look after everyone now." And then they got blown away. Charizard and Friede just gusted away. So
wait, how did he give Pikachu away if he was already following?
He picked him up, like Pikachu was holding on to Friede. Friede lifted him up, put his goggles on Captain Pikachu, and then he passed him over to Liko.
Oh, and then he fell.
And then he.
Well, you
the
know
winds took him, brother.
You know what they say, boys. You know, as much as I want to dog on Treyman's theory here, I think it's more likely than Friede's just straight up dead. Because as I like to say in anime, if you ain't seen the body, he ain't dead. Now, are they going to show us like a freaking blood stain on the ground where Friede used to be? No, but...
yeah, he's definitely not dead, but like...
No one dies in Pokemon.
They're bringing us suspense.
Well, actually, there were two deaths literally in that same episode.
Except for Mallow's mom and...
I'm about to say, Mallow's mom is, she's pretty much gone.
And Stoutland and Latios. Okay, maybe a few people die in Pokemon.
John, literally 2 people died in the beginning of that episode, though.
Right at the beginning.
Gibeon, Amethio's grandfather.
He doesn't count.
And Lucius, fucking.
He was already dead.
Grandfather.
Well,
technically,
plot twist, he wasn't dead.
Wasn't dead, yeah.
Now he is. You gotta watch the show, bro. You gotta watch the show.
My man turned the particles on us, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a crazy spoiler they dropped.
Bulbapedia says he's over 100 years old. He's cheating.
It's his fault.
Yeah, I want to circle back to the Friede is Lucario theory. Now, technically, it's not off the table because Friede isn't dead. It's just like, bro, what? Like, it's just so weird. It don't make sense. How did Pikachu, what's his name? For Tim's dad from Detective Pikachu, how did he become Pikachu in the movie? I forgot how it was. Was it that, like, he had a concussion and then Mewtwo like transported his mind to Pikachu to save his body or something like that?
I want to say that was it. Like, it was the only way to save him. Was like he just transported his consciousness into Pikachu,
which is so trippy.
Yeah. Which never happens in the game, by the way. Like, Detective Pikachu, the game never explains this.
That's so weird.
Maybe the Switch one does. I never played it. At that point, I was over Detective Pikachu.
So we don't know how like Roy got the Lucario just yet. We have to wait like 2 weeks before the arc begins. I'm sure they'll explain it in a flashback, but it's still, I just don't see it because it's really weird. It's really like the idea that like this character that they've been traveling with the whole time, now he's your Pokemon. You capture him in a Pokeball and you treat him like your pet. and I don't know, bro. I don't know what you were smoking when you did this, when you made this tweet, bro. But I don't know, bro.
He was your mentor, now he's your pet.
That's crazy. I will say it is interesting to see the parallel with like the Laquium, which is like this substance that powers a Pokemon. It has similar effects to how they treated the R gas from the Detective Pikachu movie, like Trey was drawing connection to in this tweet. That's pretty cool. But humans.
Yeah, but R was already like weird. A knockoff of like previous anime stuff, like Dr. Namba and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, they've always had kind of like this. They've always played around with the idea of like something that powers up a Pokemon and makes them angry and makes them go.
Yeah, like berserk. I don't think it's like a radical concept to be like, oh, they're clearly alluding to Detective Pikachu. Like, nah, I don't think so.
The only similarities is that like the Laquium crystals, they produce like a smoke instead of like just being like it's the energy, but it comes off as like smoke, so I guess that's the similarity, like a mist. Yeah, but still, I don't really know.
It's lean.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Sorry, Trey. We love you though, bro. We love you.
Yeah. Much
bro
love.
Was DJing. He was DJing, and then he had that random Annie-Poke thought was like, oh, maybe this could work.
I will say, well, let's use this opportunity since I don't really know when we'll talk about Annie-Poke again. We had the full Annie-Poke podcast the other week. I don't know. We're not getting a new episode for 2 weeks, so I feel like this is the opportunity to like get our final thoughts of what we think of the new arc that's coming up now that we got that final episode, and like where we think happened to Friede. What is his fate? There are like 3 possible outcomes, I think, but like I'll let Raph go first.
I was just gonna say I don't think he's dead. I think he'll probably come back maybe as a supporting character to try and take down Spinel, seeing as he has got that big adversary with him. The new arc looks cool. Looking forward to seeing how the time skip plays its part in terms of the narrative. Obviously, I'm really keen to see how Roy got that Mega Evolution, and if the others will get a Mega Evolution too. That Oroto character looks interesting. He's got a nice rivalry with Roy. Like it confirmed recently in one of the recent trailers that he's also searching for the Black Rayquaza. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, really?
Between them.
Oh, yes, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so they're definitely rivals.
Yeah, they're rivals. But apparently they went to Roy met, or this is on the official Annie-Poke website, Roy met Oroto and Kalos and they trained together. So that's probably where they started to build that friendship and rivalry, and then later on discovered that he wants to get the Black Rayquaza as well. But it's exciting stuff. Can't really talk about it if you haven't heard anything else. But yeah, man. That's my 2 cents on the table.
Jaleel.
Interesting. Excited. I think for one, last episode was great. I like just through and through, fantastic episode.
Yeah.
Led into like pretty much almost like confirming Liko was like, this is like she was telling the story the whole time, and it leads into this point where it's like, now let's continue from where I'm at, and where the adventure I've been through. I think that's really interesting.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that now they're in the present?
That's the implication. Because
what if? Hear me out. What if? What if there wasn't a time skip at all? What if all this happened while Ash was 9, and now they're in the current day?
Stop.
But actually, hold up. They would pull something like that to prevent Ash from aging and still keep
They probably would, honestly.
No.
I really hope that's not the case. Well, does that still work though?
Technically, it does, because there's nothing that contradicts. There's nothing that connects to the Ash series right now, so there's nothing that can be contradicted. It can literally fit anywhere.
He didn't get Mega for a long time, but again, it doesn't matter because he was Infinite 10, so we don't wear time and place take. God, it sucks.
John,
okay,
you might be cooking, bro.
Pokemon, please don't.
Hate to say it.
If I see Ash pull up in this series and he's still wearing that stupid Journeys outfit, I'm gonna flip a table, bro.
Yeah,
lose it. Outside of that, excited. I think like couple things for me. I think we're not gonna get Dot like doing much right away. I feel like she's about to be like woman in the chair, just like, hey guys, go here, do this, do that, and we won't see her for like at least like quite a bit, or at least jumping into action anytime soon. I think it'll be obviously like Liko and Roy, and then Ult will come, and then eventually Dot's like, should get out the room, go touch some grass, and then finally comes out. I think that's how that process will go. Again, Think Stabilize really cool. Switch, good change up. please explain like Mega Lucario. Like you just can't just have a shiny Lucario and not explain the background behind it, and then hopefully just make it good. Because I know a lot of our worries are this is about to be just the most default Lucario ever. Just now it's shiny. Just please give it some kind of personality, pizzazz. Because based off that trailer, it looks just like Ashes. It seems like it acts just like Ashes, bro. And
that's the problem, dude. Everyone wants Lucario to act exactly the same. Everyone wants like the stoic Chad Aura Farmer Lucario.
I don't want that.
Anything different.
Don't want that.
I don't like it shiny either.
Yeah, I want them to do something different with it. I am on like the flip side though. I'm definitely like in the group where like I kind of don't want Liko to get Mega Evolution. I'd rather her do something with Hatchram, in like Evolve it, Hatterene, G-Max. That'd be great. Cause like I feel like the default is either give her Altaria or Gardevoir, and please don't give her Gardevoir. Like it's just she already has Hatchram.
Or they might give her a new Mega from ZA.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I guess that is also a route. So yeah, I mean, overall it looks good. I mean, I am excited to see what they do. This is a time to like, we're in new territory. So like, really, they have a way to just kind of do what they want. It seems like we're now out of the bulk of the game stuff, you know, Scarlet Violet crap, you know. So it's like, cool, we can really push the envelope on building a proper story, which Pokemon is like. They get a chance to do it. You don't have to follow the game 1-to-1. I imagine they don't need to follow Legends ZA 1-to-1. So they have a lot of room to play around with the story.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. I just like that final episode, although it wasn't my favorite of the arc. My favorite was the one prior where they fought Zygarde. It's just the fact that like this makes the story feel more like it has more weight to it. Like there's more consequence, there's more stakes. You know, obviously Friede getting away, the fate of like the hero Pokemon, the fact that the heroes technically lost in this case, and like now like Spinel framed the Rising Volt Tacklers, which caused the 1 year time skip where everyone's basically like in hiding. Like it just sets up such a more interesting story aside from like the usual, oh, we're just gonna battle to be the very best like no one ever was. Like no, there's actual story with consequences, which is pretty cool. And it's like it's very dramatic for Pokemon's case, at least. For other anime it's not, but for Pokemon this is a pretty major turning point that hasn't really been done before, which is really, really cool. It's funny because I did my review when it came out, the bulk of the last final episodes, and I was getting a lot of like new viewers or a lot of people who were saying, oh, I didn't care about Horizons because Ash left, but they're doing a time skip and this story sounds crazy and there's stakes. This is actually pretty cool. I'm actually watching. Like there was a lot of the comments were like, yo, I didn't care for Horizons, but now I kind of want to watch it. It's like, damn.
I think it starts to become like, oh, this is a cool anime versus, oh, this is a cool Pokemon series. It starts to shift a bit of how the series works versus just like, again, our traditional Ash goes, does his battles, ranks up, gets his W, leaves. All right. I mean, he would lose a league every now and then, like, you know, prior, but once he hit like Sun and Moon, it was, oh, like he's getting W's. There's no way you have him go in the World Championship and he's taking a loss. Right. And the one that he did take a loss on was like, it's so nonchalant. It was just whatever. So there's a lot more weight behind it where it's like, cool, we can build a proper story, unlike having to just follow the very systematic formulaic, you know, Ash wins, moves on, Ash wins, moves on. I have seen people online talk about how they kind of do miss the gym formula. I don't really agree. I think it's nice that we can actually get proper story that still includes Pokemon. It's not just the same thing. So if you want to hop in and you just don't want to like, hey, cool, I get to watch Ash.
Pokemon is more than just gyms, bro. If you just watch it for the gym battles, you don't like Pokemon.
At that point, just watch clips. At that point, watch clips. You can get your whole point across with clips at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, there's only 8 episodes to watch, bro.
If you're lucky, Ash loses and goes back for a rematch, but that's fine.